Hey guys, Mrs. Bess here. So, for the last week here, we're going to look at two poems in your textbook. The first one is called "The Song of Wandering Aengus" by W.B. Yeats. Okay, and this is found on page 72 in the 7th grade collections textbook. Okay, and for your assignment, I'm just going to read the poem aloud, and for your assignment, you're just going to complete the four questions under analyzing the text on page 73. Okay, so here's the poem, The Song of Wandering Aengus. I went out to the hazel wood because a fire was in my head, and cut and peeled a hazel wand and hooked a berry to a thread. And when white moths were on the wing, and moth-like stars were flickering out, I dropped the berry in a stream and caught a little silver trout. When I had laid it on the floor, I went to blow the fire aflame, but something rustled on the floor, and someone called me by my name. It had become a glimmering girl, with apple blossom in her hair, who called me by my name and ran and faded through the brightening air. Though I am old with wandering through hollow lands and hilly lands, I will find out where she has gone, and kiss her lips and take her hands, and walk among long dappled grass, and pluck till time and times are done, the silver apples of the moon, the golden apples of the sun. Okay, so one of the things I want you to notice was when you read it aloud, you kind of have to read it a few times to really get the sense of it, but you kind of sense the rhythm a little bit. And the rhythm is kind of created from the rhyme and the repetition and the amount of syllables per line and all that stuff. So one of the things I want you to notice and that you're going to be looking at when you're doing the questions, think about what's happening in each of these three stanzas. Remember, a stanza is just like, sort of like a paragraph is to a story. It's just a group of consecutive lines like this that forms a single unit. So this is one stanza, this is another stanza, and this is a third stanza. So one of the things you're going to have to do is think about the primary actions that take place in each of the three stanzas. So just really break it down one line at a time and try to figure out what you think is actually happening in each of the stanzas. And then you're just going to look at some of the different things that you see that when it's talking about repetition, that just means things that repeat. There's certain things that repeat, and sometimes that stresses or emphasizes certain things. Think about what's the quest of Aengus in this poem, okay, because that's the speaker, that's the I. And it kind of almost seems sort of like he's kind of chanting a song at one point there towards the end. But one thing I want you to notice too is the end rhyme. So end rhyme is when we have like the words that rhyme at the end, like head and thread, wing and stream, sort of, out and trout, floor, a flame and name, things like that. So end rhyme is when you have words at the ends of the lines that rhyme, and sometimes there's a pattern and sometimes there's not, but either way it definitely helps add to the rhythm of the poem. Alright, so let me know if you guys have any questions, and let's see. I'm actually going to go ahead and keep this going. By the way, your questions right here, bottom of page 73. Those are the four questions you're going to answer for that poem. And then I'm going to go ahead and just keep doing one consecutive video here if I can. And then the next poem is by William Shakespeare, and this is called Sonnet 43. He wrote a lot of sonnets, and they were all named just like this with numbers. So again, William Shakespeare's Sonnet 43. When most I wink, then do mine eyes best see, for all the day they view things unrespected, but when I sleep in dreams they look on thee, and darkly bright are bright in dark directed. Then thou, whose shadows doth make bright, how would thy shadows form happy show to the clear day with thy much clearer light, when to unseeing eyes thy shade shines so? How would, I say, mine eyes be blessed made by looking on thee in the living day, when in dead night thy fair imperfect shade through heavy sleep on sightless eyes doth stay. All days are nights to see till I see thee, and nights bright days when dreams do show thee me. Okay, so I know you're probably thinking, what is this guy talking about? Because I know Shakespeare had a pretty funky language, guys. So you got to just kind of break it down and look at what you do know, and think about your context clues. And he really was saying things that you're familiar with. Probably he's just saying them in a little bit different words than what you're used to. And there is a little bit of end rhyme here, and the rhythm is a little harder to emerge in this one, but I definitely think the rhyme scheme and the couplets help add to the rhythm. And again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, these terms are all defined over here. So Sonnet 43, page 74 in your textbook, and the questions for follow up on that are on page 75. So you're going to answer those 4 questions for the analyzing the text on page 75 in addition to the ones on page 73 for the previous poem. And if you need some assistance, definitely use the information in the text, in your prior knowledge, anything in your ELA notebook, and feel free to message me. But let me know what you guys think Shakespeare is like really saying here. What do you think he's really saying? And think about how and why this is paired with the previous poem, because they're put together for a reason. So I want you to also be thinking about why would they be put together, because there are certain similarities between the poems. All right, thank you.